Haven't you ever wondered, how big is Geometry Dash? How many GD levels would it take to form a black hole? Is Geometry Dash actually bigger than the universe? Along with a load of other mind-blowing realizations, in this video we will unravel the mysteries behind Geometry Dash. But first of all, let's explore the relationship between Geometry Dash and space by upscaling Geometry Dash to the cosmic scale. To do this, we first need to know the dimensions of a single Geometry Dash block, with the most commonly agreed upon metric being 1 meter by 1 meter, at least according to this random guy on Reddit. We're about to cycle through 5 different cosmic scales, with each one being bigger than the last. Starting off with the planetary scale. Now, this is pretty small, so calculations at these lengths should be relatively easy. We can figure out things like how long it would take the GD ship to reach the moon, given the formula speed equals distance over time. I came to the conclusion that the regular ship speed in Geometry Dash is around 10 blocks or meters per second. According to NASA themselves, a space shuttle must accelerate from 0 to 8,000 meters per second in order to escape the Earth. So that is a slight bit faster than our poor old Geometry Dash ship, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Because time equals distance over speed, at these speeds our wee little ship would take around 10,677 hours or 444 days to reach the moon. But this isn't all that shocking. Next we find ourselves at the interstellar scale. Things still aren't crazy huge, but they're definitely a lot bigger. Discovered in 1915, the star closest to our sun, known as Proxima Centauri, is approximately 4.246 light years away. So how many club steps would fit in between the sun and its nearest neighbor? But more importantly, how many club steps would it take to create a black hole? So firstly, we need to find the length of club step. But how are we going to do that, you ask? Well, it's actually relatively simple. Select all of club step in the editor, except for the bottom layer, delete the rest of the level, and replace the bottom layer with single blocks. The remaining number of objects left is the length of club step. Using this method, we find that club step is exactly 887 meters in length. If we convert 4.246 light years into meters, we get approximately 37 quadrillion 840 trillion. That's a lot of zeros. Divide our number by the length of club step and we get 42 trillion 660 billion 653 million 889,515. Therefore, if you played club step 42 trillion times, you'd eventually be able to reach our sun's nearest neighbor. Although I'm pretty sure the average based AzureTurk viewer touches far too much grass to ever accomplish such a feat. Welcome to the intergalactic scale. At this point, we've reached the size of some black holes. But what if we wanted to make our own black hole? First of all, what is a black hole? A black hole, or more so its singularity, is a point of infinite density and zero volume, where the laws of physics as we know them seem to break down completely. My hypothesis is that if we can figure out how many club steps it would take to match the volume of the Earth, and if we could then compress all those Earth-sized club steps into each other, we could potentially create a club step black hole. Using the method from earlier, we can also find the height and width of club steps. With the height being 31 meters and the width obviously being 1, we can use these figures to calculate the volume of club step, which turned out to be 0.274 cubic kilometers. Dividing this by the volume of the Earth, which is around 1 trillion cubic kilometers, and we get around 3,649,635 million club steps that would fit into a single Earth. Now multiply this figure by 3 million and we get the mind-numbingly huge 10 quintillion 948 quadrillion 905 trillion club steps that it would take to create just a small scale black hole. In comparison, that number is nearing every single grain of sand on the entire Earth, which is actually not that impressive yet. You thought that was big. What if we moved even beyond the intergalactic scale? Behold, the Laniakea galactic supercluster, around 500 million light years in diameter. This beast is home to not only ours but also 100,000 other galaxies. Assuming the Geometry Dash ship travels at a constant 4 times speed, which is around 15 blocks or meters per second, it would take around this many years for the ship to finally cross the Laniakea supercluster. That number is over 6 orders of magnitude larger than the number of stars in the entire universe. It's so large in fact that it's almost 2 times larger than the number of bitches I have, multiplied by 0. But I'm not done yet. There's still one final level we've yet to tackle. Home to every politician, warlord, furry, and Geometry Dash hacker that ever existed. The true scale of the universe is far beyond what a mortal mind can comprehend. Luckily, we do have a measurement for roughly what we can observe: 94 billion light years. Despite the universe itself only being a toddler at 13.7 billion years old, it's actually managed to grow up pretty quickly since the Big Bang. Because the Big Bang isn't actually the expansion of the universe into anything, rather just the expansion of space itself. Sort of like if you were to inflate a balloon. This also technically means that the Big Bang occurred everywhere at once, including in your mother, which is pretty based if you really think about it. But that's besides the point. I want to answer the question, is the longest Geometry Dash level actually bigger than the universe itself? Now, your immediate answer is probably, I wish I was studying instead of watching this lunatic talk about Geometry Dash. But let's take a look before we actually jump to any conclusions. So the longest Geometry Dash level is Timeless by Cyrillic, and originally I was gonna do a bunch of calculations to figure out how the level compares to the diameter of the universe, etc. But then I realized the level is literally infinite. Somehow. Now, I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty sure that infinity is at least bigger than Africa. So, in spite of the billions upon billions of galactic superclusters, black holes, stars, and planets, a two-dimensional block game with a community full of weebs, furries, and Spanish children still trumps the entire universe in magnitude. How crazy is that? With that being said, if you do subscribe, I promise to touch grass for the first time in 10 months. We'll have to see about that, I guess.